A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 14, co-powered by Star Health Insurance. I'm Ritvika Gupta, and tonight we are bringing you highlights from our inaugural Season 14 Springboard here in the city of Mumbai. Now, for the longest time, Mumbai has stood at the heart of India's economic growth, bringing together entrepreneurs, investors and industry leaders like no other city. Today, we'll be taking a closer look at what makes Mumbai the undisputed financial and business capital. On the show tonight, we are bringing you a special address by our Honourable Chief Guest, Pankaja Munde, Minister of Environment, Climate Change and Animal Husbandry for Govt of Maharashtra. We'll also be featuring keynote presentations by Anto Alan, Business Head, Business Banking, Business Lending, IDFC First Bank, and Dheeraj, Goyal, Business Head, Star Health and Allied Insurance.
Good evening, everyone. Today, it's a very unique program for me. I was wondering how I address these people who are entrepreneurs themselves, who are shaping India of and for tomorrow. Their program of Leaders of Tomorrow, which is working and thinking about the scenario of emerging businesses and the India advantage along with that. I really like this word India advantage because a decade ago, or maybe few more years behind that decade, India and advantage was not put together. But now when we travel in the world, we see how people look at us. This is how we have shaped our present and future. I am a businesswoman first. I entered politics later because I am daughter of late Gopinath Munde. I am Pankaja Munde. I am Environment Minister today, but I also handled portfolios like rural development, water conservation, employment guarantee scheme, women and child welfare. Before I knew what is politics, I was born in the family which was already politics. When I was 6 months old, my father was MLA. When I went to school, he was already promoted. He was a state leader. Then he became opposition leader. Then he became Deputy CM of Maharashtra. So when I was seeing all this, I was only understanding one thing, that shaping India happens every stage, every part of the society. It happens in the rural areas. It happens in the mid-towns, it happens in the city, economic capital like our Mumbai. When I was growing up, my father told me, you have to be economically independent. And then you think of any work or any social work or any social field or political field. I derived my salary when I was 19-year-old. He only gave me 2.5 lakh rupees and he said, do whatever you want to do with that. I started a software company and my first salary was 19,000 rupees. And I was very happy to get those 19,000 rupees in 1999. I was hardly 19-year-old. Then I started working in water conservation as an NGO. I feel we should have different approach for rural development and urban India. We should become a bridge to fill the gap between rural and urban. Then only as a whole country we can go ahead. And last decade I'm observing we are able to bridge that gap. Now we are not here to only talk about filling the stomach, having enough food, enough nutrition, basic education, basic homes. We are talking much beyond that. When I was discussing with the ET team, having a cup of coffee, I saw how this program has grown. This program started 14 years ago. तो आपका बनवास का कालावधि पूरा हो गया है, 14 साल बनवास का कालावधि पूरा हो गया. So after they were sharing with me that so many entrepreneurs, when they were in the beginning stage of their life, they were also participating in this particular show, and now they are big names of the country. So giving them this dais is a very, very important thing, encouraging thing. I, as a rural development minister, was working with SHGs. There's self-help groups, small scale, very, very small scale businesses happen on the rural area. To give them that boost, I took them to Google, to Facebook, to Harvard, to MIT, this group of people who started from scratch, and they are now working, and they are their income is in lakhs, which did not have 5 rupees in their pocket. So that journey is very important. So I think this journey of this program is very important. It is encouraging, it's giving knowledge, it is sharing, and it is giving them those rewards which they deserve. Whatever business we do, we should have empathy and empowerment both. At the same time, it should culturally suit our environment. Now you see, war is happening in the world is on the fuel. Next will be, I'm sure you all know, is on the water. So all these things which are going extinct because of our growth, our not very thoughtful growth, our environment is paying the cost. Whatever we are getting from the earth, we are not giving back. So this is the scenario. Being an environment minister, I'm concerned about. So future of the nation and the globe is sustainable growth, supporting environment. So now all these things are very well thought of. They are very well planned and put across for the new generation to see and take decisions from. Now, rural people or middle class people, they don't want to only get degree and get jobs. They want to become entrepreneurs themselves. There are so many areas, there are so many ideas, there are so many ways to become entrepreneur by yourself. And I think one of the encouraging way to go through this efforts what they have taken. So I really congratulate all of you. I wish you all the best. And I really feel having big dreams is nothing wrong. Concept of making really a lot of money is also not wrong. Securing your future is not wrong. But at the same time, empowering your economy, empowering your country is also important. Now how world looked at us as the biggest market, it's a world is catering their brands in India, but now we'll be catering our ideas in the globe. So इसे हम हमारी मोदी जी के भाषा में local से global कहते हैं. So I think we are there now. We have gone from local to global. Vasudevakam Kutumbakam. India is traveling towards becoming a big power in the world, and we are all contributing in that. We need politicians who are understanding policies. We need politicians who are giving good policies for entrepreneurs like you, news groups like you, youth like I can see around. And ease of doing business is also very important, which is changing the fate of India. So all these together, we will put efforts and make this country shine like never before. Thank you so much.
It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.
Presented by IDFC First Bank, always you first. Co-powered by Star Health Insurance.
Welcome back to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 14, co-powered by Star Health Insurance. And you're watching highlights from our inaugural Season 14 Springboard here in the city of Mumbai.
Very good evening. On behalf of IDFC First Bank, I would like to welcome you to the 14th edition of Leaders of Tomorrow. So we will talk about emerging business and the India advantage over the course of this presentation. So what are these emerging businesses and how critical are they for the Indian economy? We have an approximate count of about 78 million customers as MSMEs, classified as MSMEs, but a large portion of them are in the micro segment, which is about a turnover of up to 10 crores. We have 72 million of them. About 5 million in the small segment, which is about the 10 to 100 crore, and 50 lakhs to about 1 million in the medium segment. A large portion, of course, is in the micro micro segment of the MSME. How critical it is to the Indian economy? It generates about 32 crore jobs. 69% of the workforce gets employed in the MSME segment. It contributes to 30% of the India's GDP and about 45% of India's exports. That's how critical it is for the Indian economy. Now, against this backdrop, how do we compare it with global standards? 54% of advanced economies' GDP is contributed by MSMEs. Even in emerging economies, if we were to compare, 49% is contributed by MSMEs. Comparatively, we have about 30% currently getting contributed by MSMEs, which means as we hurtle towards the $30 trillion economy in 2047, the headroom for growth is going to be tremendous, and the opportunities and the jobs and the kind of commerce which it could generate is going to be tremendous. When we say MSMEs, it is not one homogeneous group that we are talking about. There's a whole set of businesses, and therefore there's a whole set of requirements which an MSME has got. The requirements of these segments are also not uniform. Like, for instance, typically at the start of a journey, we are talking about a small unsecured facility. Then we kind of look at a credit guarantee scheme, the CGT semi scheme. Then as the MSME starts graduating, as the MSME starts growing, then we look at revolving letters of credit. We are looking at trade finance. We look at bill discounting facilities. Then, as, for example, for manufacturers, when they start putting up, then we look at equipment loans. Then we look at project term loans, so on and so forth. So in the entire continuum of the journey, the credit products also differ. The customer segments differ. And there's a lot of individualization which happens when it comes to addressing this segment. What are the key headwinds? Credit access continues to be one of the larger challenges which the segment faces. The credit gap, the 20 lakh, 30 lakh crore credit gap that typically we talk about, is largely in the micro segment. Because of opacity of financials, because of the informality of the sector, because a large portion of it does not flow into the formal sector system, there is not so much of availability of information to see what exactly happens in the sector. Credit flow has always been a challenge. And today, banks and NBFCs have started evolving multiple alternate sources of information, and today the information footprints are such that there are multiple sources of information which you can triangulate to form arriving at credit, but largely there's a huge credit gap in that particular segment. Secondly, in terms of digital and tech adoption, because the intensity is to grow immediately and there's this dearth of capital which is there, tech adoption has been typically slow, and given in the current age of AI, where there's so much happening with AI around, there is this one area which will cause significant headwinds, especially for MSMEs which fail to invest in technology. Thirdly, skill gaps. Even today, experienced manpower is not so much so accessible towards an MSMEs, although some of it is changing with the startup environment. It's significantly changing with the startup environment that is coming across, hopefully, the last 2-3 years. But still, availability of skilled manpower, access to availability of skilled manpower is still a challenge. Lastly, we have seen, even currently in this geopolitical war which happened, they are susceptible to macroeconomic shocks, be it the COVID impact, be it the tariff impact. We saw a lot of segments get impacted when the tariff impact happened. And as recently as when you saw in the war, when the fuel costs jumped and when there was accessibility of fuel accessibility of gas became a problem, there was a lot of challenges in the operation of it. So they are susceptible to a lot of geopolitical shock. Why are we as a country uniquely positioned in this new economic order? What makes India so special in this? There are 5 things. One is the demand-led growth. The PLI which has been announced for the 14 priority sector areas, has helped not only in building, accelerating cost efficiencies, but also in driving consumption-led growth. In terms of logistics and infrastructure backbone that the country is developing, have gone tremendously in improving the MSME trade supply chain access to market faster. The digital infrastructure that the country is building, be it ONDC, GST Sahai, which is helping and providing this tailwinds. Enablement of formal credit. Recently, we have announced the CGTSME cover of up to 10 crores. There is a lot of work which has happened in the Stand Up India scheme. The credit guarantee for startups has also been announced. So enablement of formal credit to the segment also is a good tailwind which is helping the segment progress. And also post-COVID, there is this consciousness of building a China One strategy globally as well. Therefore, industries globally which is trying to build alternate supply chains are looking at India as a critical supply chain element there. So what typically we are seeing, so we've been dealing with a lot of MSMEs, we've been dealing with a lot of startups and emerging businesses. What are we seeing the ones which do well, do things differently? One is the formulation of credit access, especially GST registration and Udyam, because these two are very critical footprints which helps you garner a lot of data. And today, access to credit becomes a lot more easier when there is registration into GST and those transaction flows are happening. Innovation and R&D, these are modes to build a competitive advantage. Businesses that we see consistently investing in R&D and consistently building those modes, we do see them do relatively a lot better. Market access and global integrations, we have talked about this, how a lot of access and the recently concluded the UK Pact as well, the trade pact with UK as well should give a lot of market access. And I'm sure the one that we did with New Zealand, the one we did with UK, the one that we are expected to do with Europe and the rest of the countries as well, I'm sure we'll have a lot of market access and global integration to happen. And lastly, this is something that none of us can ignore is the digital and AI for growth. Before I conclude, I just wanted to take a few minutes to see what is it that from IDFC First Bank that we are doing to partner in this growth. We have a vision to build a world-class bank right from India. That's the vision in which we have been operating. We have been guided by ethics, powered by technology, and we also want to be a force for social good. And I think in a lot of measures that we do, in a lot of products that we do, in the way we are segmented, there's a lot of impetus to make sure that there is focus on social growth. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Happy to interact with you during the course of the evening. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Good evening, friends. Good evening, delegates, fellow speakers, ET Now, Leaders of Tomorrow platform, and my dear friends. It's an absolute honor and privilege for us at STAR to be associated with such a great initiative. Government's vision of Viksit Bharat 2047 will get realized once we have productive workforce, a healthier workforce, which in turn will also help IRDAI's vision of insurance for all 2047. And therefore, today my talk is not about insurance alone. It's about how health can help realize India's growth story. India's moment is here. It's truly here. Viksit Bharat 2047 vision of government will take us to a 30 trillion economy. But that's a huge delta from a current 4 trillion. Now, they'll be fueled by manufacturing boom, a very, very robust digital India infrastructure, a startup ecosystem, a world's youngest demographics, a very, very resilient MSME, and a rapid AI adoption. But that growth depends on one important thing: healthy people. Health used to be a welfare subject. Health is no longer a social issue. It's an economic one. The healthy employees leads to lower absenteeism, leads to higher productivity, leads to better economic growth. And if you sum all this up with government priorities, what does government want? So government's priority is better productivity. How does health insurance help? Employees recover faster, return to their workplaces sooner. Another government objective of employment quality. The health insurance makes SME attract better talent. Another government objective of formalization of economy. Health insurance encourages structured benefits of employees. Another government objective, insurance for all 2047. Health insurance for MSME focused encourages cover beyond large corporates. And health insurance have a responsibility to give protection to the backbone of the nation, the MSME. 30% of the GDP is contributed by MSME. Almost 45.5% plus export is contribution to them, and almost 40 crores of jobs supported through MSMEs. 40 crore jobs, but the protection gap is stark. Only 31% penetration in MSME for health insurance, whereas it's almost 85% in large corporates. And hence, there is a star opportunity, a huge opportunity available. Only 5% of the MSME insure their employees. For us, health insurance is not just a product. It's a national economic infrastructure. Can major economies grow without sufficient and significant financial protection? The answer would be no. Insurance penetration in India is 3.7% of the GDP, and the insurance for all 2047 vision aims to double it to almost 8%. Viksit Bharat 2047 will get realized, but we firmly believe the next wave will not come from metros. 30% of the Indians remain outside the gambit of health insurance protection. That we call missing middle. They are neither too poor to be covered under government schemes, nor covered by large corporates. This is what we as a company is building for. Star is building for underserved India. 20 years of legacy built by trust. As India has evolved over the period of 20 years, so have we. In financial year 26, we did 20,000 crores of GWP, which kind of doubled in 5 years, with 31% of market share, 8.5 lakhs of agents, 900 plus branch offices, 1,000 Gramin Bima Kendra. We are just not talking about MSME, we are there. We are servicing 20,000 pin codes across the country. We are not just the payers of claims. We are taking it or evolved beyond paying claims. We want to focus on prevention, prediction, protection, and recovery. Claims are not just transactions, they are a moment of truth for us. While I was mentioning about our network and our intent towards MSME, and I think in one of the slides you would have noticed, I'm talking about the missing middle is what we are focusing on, but the segment which anyways is getting covered probably by government schemes. We do a CSR activity of providing healthcare facilities are absolute free. We have a Arogya Seva Kendra, which we have partnered with Pyramid, and we have 32 operational clinics. We have so far have 45,000 visits as Arogya Seva Kendra, 48,000 plus medical tests done, 5,000 plus health education sessions done, and it's only started. Absolutely zero charge, and it's open not for star customers, it's open for anybody who wants to visit. Technology, it's an enabler for everything for us, be it AI-led claims, automation, fraud detection, or digital health. Our AI roadmap very clearly specifies that the goal of technology is not efficiency just for the sake of it. We want to make healthcare simpler, faster, and humane. Health, wealth, India's advantage. At Star Health, we believe protecting health is one of the most powerful ways to protect India's future. That's the India advantage. Thank you so very much.
With that, it's a wrap on this edition of IDFC First Bank Presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 14, co-powered by Star Health Insurance. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.
Presented by IDFC First Bank, always you first. Co-powered by Star Health Insurance.